Well, it looks like we're live. It looks like we're live. What does it mean? I don't know. Well, here we are. I always say that. It's October 7th. It is 11:59. I am broadcasting from my backyard here in Austin, Texas. I am not sure if the Facebook side of this stream is working. So I bet it is though, because I just got some eyeballs on this. So that's good. Last week's stream, I went back, I listened to it. The sound quality was just not great. It wasn't great. I think it might have been Wi-Fi, sharing Wi-Fi with people who were doing real serious work, or it just might have been the weird nature of things. Hello, Eric and Yolanda. It's so nice to see you. Hey, Anne. Happy birthday to Rich. Some of our usual watchers are gonna be doing other things this morning, so it might be a little bit of a smaller group of us here. What I am going to do right now, just real quickly, is share this as you have all seen me do before, and it's awkward and it's strange, but it's just something that has to be done. Say hello if you're here, if you're watching. Share if you're so inclined. Hey, Sue. Let's hit this. Okay. Hey, Larry. It's nice to see you. My sync is off slightly. I believe that. What happens with this stream, weirdly, is that the sync will kind of go off, and then it will catch up. So when we talk, YouTube is a little bit out of sync. Eric, tell me if Facebook is out of sync too, because what I might just have to do is restart. There's just a lot of stuff going on here in the house. We've got 2 kids in virtual school, and my wife working really hard and having Zoom calls. So it would not surprise me very much if the sync, if that is affecting things. Though over the summer, they were all the girls were, instead of doing school, they would be streaming something. This is a lot of information for you that perhaps you don't really care about. But let's, Larry, that's good. So it looks and sounds good. It sounds good from there. That's good. We're going to be playing some songs today, as we do. I'm going to be talking a lot about my guitar voyage, because I lost a hero yesterday. We all did. Guitar players and music enthusiasts. So I'll be talking a little bit about that. If you have a request, if there's something you'd like to hear, please drop it in the comments. And we'll just kind of play it by ear, take it as it comes, as it were. Keep me posted on things like sound quality and the sync. All right, because if it is really bad, that's something I'd like to know about, and we'll just kind of we'll see what happens. All right. The song is called $1, 2 quarters, and a dime. I'm scrounging for $1, boy. I'm scrounging for change. I need money for my cigarettes got a habit I can't shake. I'll just be grateful it's nicotine, not the stuff they sell up Ardmore way. Yeah, look between the cushions, boy, and check the bottom drawer. Yeah, we got $2.45. We're still $1.60 short. Oh, don't bother checking the pickle jar. Ain't nothing in there anymore. Yeah, we need $1. 2 quarters and a dime. Yeah, just $1. 2 quarters and a dime. I don't have a license, boy. Well, just take my mama's car. Yeah, she's with her man down in Hermosa. He runs his book out of a bar. Head over to Diaz Market, boy. That's okay, it ain't that far. I'll take a pack of L&M's. I'm sorry about all this change. Yeah, you know me, I know you. We both know I'm of age. I'm gonna rip this plastic wrapper off and smoke these latchkey blues right away. Yeah, we got the $1. 2 quarters and a dime. Yeah, we got that $1. 2 quarters and a dime. So that song is called $1, 2 quarters, and a dime. I hope that we are more effectively synced up. Now, if we are, let me know. Please do let me know, especially if it's not sounding good. But if it is sounding good, oh, good. And Nicholas says the sync is better on Facebook now. All right. Well, that's good. Who knows, man? So it's October 7th of 2020. We're just after noon here in Austin. If you're here, say a quick hello in the comments. That would be great. And we're gonna play some songs here. So Larry Looney says it's skipping and then catching up. Not sure what to suggest on that. Maybe the platform is being pushed too hard with all the activity. I think it really is being pushed pretty hard. But we're gonna go for as long as we can, and we'll just kind of have to see. We'll just kind of have to see how this shakes out. If it gets to the point where you're just kind of like, I can't watch this anymore, I'll probably just stop, and we'll come back next week. But let's see what we can accomplish. Let's see. I am not sure what I'm gonna play here. You know what I think I might do actually. I went through some of the. I went through a bunch of the songs yesterday from the first couple records that I just don't play as much. And so, maybe I'll pull out some stuff that maybe I don't play as much on this stream today. It's a really nice day here. There are quite a few mosquitoes out, so if you see me seeming even more distracted than usual, that's why. Songwriter that I suspect most of you know who she is. This is called Back to Being You. On bad days, I come home from work and you're lying in the dark. You say every part of me hurts. You keep telling me I'm sorry. I keep telling you it's okay. And sometimes you let me hold you. Sometimes you push me away. So why I'm gonna wait, and I can see this through until you get back to being you, back to being you. When your mind gets to racing and you can't stand hanging around, you leave a note and hit the road and hope the spinning wheels slow it down. From the outskirts of wherever you call, so I know you're safe. And I ask you when you're coming back. You say it could be any day. And I'm gonna wait. And I can see this through until you get back to being you, back to being you. 'Cause there's no one on earth who can love me like you do, at least, when you're you. So why I'm gonna wait, and I see this through until you get back to being you, back to being you. That song is called Back to Being You. It's on the first record. It's I'm particularly fond of how that turned out. So one of the players on that song with me on the first record are Bill Small on bass and John Chipman on drums, and I think Walt Wilkins added some harmony and some gut string guitar also, and then Bart DeWin on piano. And Bart is an extraordinary musician. He makes the players that he plays with sound a lot better. He's a compassionate player. He's a generous player. He's a great person. His playing on that song is just extraordinary. One of my very favorite jazz pianists is a guy named Bill Evans, and Bart's playing on that song reminds me a lot of Bill Evans, so go back and listen to that if you can on Spotify. Check it out. It just sounds really, really cool. Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. If you have the CD, pop that in. Because the sound on CDs, in my opinion, is the best. I think the dog is from next door. Yep, there it is. It's a little Boston Terrier. Can you hear it? I don't know if you probably can't hear it. Very, very, very cute dog. Just a cute dog. But he likes to come out when I am streaming and bark at me. Not bark because it doesn't really have a bark. It just kind of has more of a grumble. An upset grumble. I just don't know how things are sounding out there. I hope that things are sounding okay. I hope that the stream is synced up so that my lips, when I sing, it is the sound that you hear is that sound, because that is a source of just tremendous psychological discomfort for me when I'm watching somebody else stream and it's off. So I hope it's not off. If it is off, please let me know. Grumble. Willa. Oh, Willa. Willa Mammoth joins. I'm a fan of Willa Mammoth. Gosh darn it. Yes, Willa, I am attempting to make sound. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Let's talk a little bit real quick about my guitar playing journey. There's a lot of noise from a truck happening back there. I miss you too, Willa, a lot. So I think when I was 10 or so, I told my folks I wanted to start learning how to play guitar, and they bought me like a little junior-sized classical guitar, and I did like 2 lessons and then stopped playing. When I was like 10. When I was 12, I heard Jimi Hendrix for the first time, and that just like completely changed my entire perception of the world. Like, not just of I want to be a guitar player. It's just like, how is this a thing that exists? How is this possible? So I saved up some money and went to Ace Music on Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles, which is now a Mercedes dealership. And I bought a Les Paul copy for $90, I think. And they were so happy to get it out of the store. I think they threw in like a really super cheap. So interesting. All right, just a quick aside. So Adam Dawson is sharing this stream right now. Adam is my friend. He also administers the page and generally takes care of me from a musical and a friendship perspective a lot. So he comments that I don't want to text while I'm playing a show. I don't think he realizes that he's commenting from my page, so it looks like I am talking to myself, which in a sense, because none of you are actually physically here, is actually what's happening. So, there's some Kafka-esque stuff happening there. We can get into that. Anyway, I bought that Les Paul clone guitar for $90. They threw in an amp, and I took some lessons there and learned some real basic chords. Adam deleted the comment. So for those of you watching now, you're going to be like, what is he talking about? There was never any such comment. It's gone because Adam deleted it. So that is what happened there. I took a few lessons there learned a couple of basic chords and then stopped. When I was 14, in 9th grade, I became friends with a guy named Darren Benson, and Darren was a huge Van Halen fan and an incredible guitar player. Some of y'all watching might even know Darren. But listening to Eddie Van Halen, I picked up that old Les Paul guitar and started poking at it a little bit, and took some more lessons, and so I think that, you know, to the extent that well, I play music because of Eddie Van Halen. I play guitar because of Eddie Van Halen. He's the reason I play. He is the reason I practiced so hard. I knew I could never play like him, but man, he made the guitar seem like this magical instrument. And so here we all are. I am going to play a Van Halen song. I'm going to play a Van Halen song. Tell your friends. Share this stream. Tell them it's like Neo's fighting Morpheus. Terry's playing a Van Halen song. Jump back, what's that sound? Here she comes, a full blast and top down. Hot shoes, burning down the avenue. Model citizen, zero discipline. Don't you know she's coming home with me? You'll lose her in the turn, I'll get her. Panama, 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 Panama. Ain't nothing like it, a shiny machine. Got the feel for the wheel, keep the moving parts clean. Hot shoes, burning down the avenue. Got an on-ramp coming through my bedroom. Don't you know she's coming home with me? You'll lose her in the turn, I'll get her. Panama, 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 Panama. We're running a little bit hot tonight. Can barely see the road from the heat coming off it. Reach down between my legs, ease the seat back. She's blinding, I'm flying right behind the rear view mirror now. Got the feeling, power steering, pistons popping, ain't no stopping now. Panama, 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 Panama. A change of pace. Yes, a change of pace. Van Halen, that song is called Panama. The story behind that song apparently is that a reporter in 1982 or 1983, during an interview with David Lee Roth, said, you know, all of your stuff is super testosterone heavy. It's adolescent male stuff. All you guys write about is like hot women and fast cars. And David Lee Roth, a fellow member of the Tribe, if you didn't know that, David Lee Roth said, I am personally offended by that comment. He said, we have no songs about fast cars. And so they went in and they wrote Panama.
And that's how you get that song, which is a cool song. I love that song, and I love Van Halen. I used to take the bus to Westwood in Los Angeles when I lived there when I was a teenager. And anytime that Eddie Van Halen on the cover of a music magazine, I would pick it up. And I remember there was one that came out right after Sammy Hagar joined the band. They were about to go on tour. The Blue Jays here are terrorists. Truly, there are dove feathers all over the yard because the Blue Jays go after the doves. You didn't know that about Blue Jays? Maybe you did. They're aggressive birds. I just hope I'm not the target of that aggression at any point. Anyway, so I'd pick up any time Eddie Van Halen was on the cover of like a music magazine or a guitar magazine, I would get it. And I remember there was one in 1986 before they were about to head on tour in support of their 5150 record. And you know, he talked about, you know, I'm being really way more disciplined, you know, instead of smoking Marlboro Reds and drinking Budweiser, I'm smoking Merit Ultralights and drinking wine coolers. That's Eddie. Let's see. So, what else? What are we gonna play? What else are we gonna do? Let me know if it's sounding all right, if it's not. Y'all are often really, really good about that. Are always really good about that. Telling me if things are off or out of sync or anything. So that's helpful. And if you want to hear something, let me know, and I'll try and play it. I'm gonna play Oklahoma. Buy a 6-pack of beer east of Chakotah at a truck stop, and I get back on to the road. I drink one after the next, and I admire that prairie sunset, and I hope I-40 carries me back home. Well, my sister said that Dad could use a visit. I said I don't know what good that would do. See, I've been drinking and depressed and kind of useless. She said it might not be a bad thing for you to. So I'm driving across Oklahoma, doing all I can to stand my own leg. I should have turned around back in Arkansas, but I got my mother's blood in my veins. In a cold sweat west of Okemah. I wish my racing heart would just give it a rest. I think of pulling off and picking up a half pint of Smirnoff, but I hear my mother's sweet voice in my head. She said, I need you to try and be there for your daddy. I know it's hard for you, just do the best you can. Well, she was gone just a few short hours later. Dad refused to let go of her hand. So I'm driving across Oklahoma, doing all I can to stand on my own leg. I should have turned around back in Arkansas, but I got my mother's blood in my veins. Oh, oh, will be my first time at the house since the reception. I've been saying it's tough for me to get away. Now facing down the dear departed memories, and my daddy's grief might be more than I can take. But I'm driving across Oklahoma, doing all I can to stand my own leg. I should have turned around back in Arkansas, but I got my mother's blood in my veins. That song is called Oklahoma. It's Wednesday. It's October 7th. We're at 12:32 here in the Central Time Zone. I hope that wherever you are doing something time appropriate. If you are in Europe, I hope you are having a after dinner cocktail or a pre-dinner cocktail. If you're on the East Coast, I hope you're eating a sandwich with delicious ingredients. If you're on the West Coast, I hope you're drinking tea or coffee. And if you're somewhere in the middle, just whatever the heck you want. I almost cursed. That would have been good. That would have been good if I'd cursed. Maybe I'll work in a curse later. We'll see. You know, when you're putting these things up on like YouTube and Facebook, they're like, is this show for children? And I think that this is, I don't know. I have really bad judgment on that sort of thing, and I'll tell you why. Because when I was a kid, when I was small, my dad used to just really didn't care what kind of media I consumed at all. So like when I was 6 or 7, maybe 6 or 7 or something like that, he took me to see Mean Streets. Yes, that Mean Streets, the Scorsese movie. And that's not appropriate for a 6 or 7-year-old, I don't think. And it really freaked me out. So I don't know. The answer to the question of whether this is appropriate for children, I don't know. They probably wouldn't be all that interested in it. They maybe would have been interested in that Van Halen cover, because Van Halen is all in all ages kind of thing. A couple requests came in. I don't know Oxford Town, Eric. Eric, a friend of mine, Jordy Bison, who you might have heard me talk about or even seen on a stream, his last name is spelled Baizan. Jordy, and he toured the Netherlands last year, just like I did. Jordy has a song about climate change, I think called Paradise, fires in California, and he's totally inspired by Oxford Town to do that thing where there's the cool thing about Oxford Town, as if you listen to this Dylan song, is that it has this super happy-go-lucky kind of traditional folk melody that if you aren't paying attention to the lyrics, you don't realize that it's about 2 civil rights workers getting shot to death in the 60s in Mississippi. But Jordy does that with a song about fires in California that is maybe my favorite song of his. It's just a great song. So I'm not sure if it's out there, if it's on YouTube or something like that. I don't know if he's released it. I'm pretty sure he has not released it yet. But see if you can find that. Willow wants to hear Anika. I'll do that. And Rich, whose birthday it just was, wants to hear me play Such a Town, which is a song about Boston. And I'm going to do that because the capo is in the right spot. We'll see how that goes. So, you know, if you fast forward to 1988 in that whole guitar journey discussion, which actually isn't all that far. So I was 14 when I really got super serious about playing the guitar and started becoming a practice person and all that sort of thing. Or as Mike Watt from the Minutemen calls it, he just calls it prac. Because he's Mike Watt. In the summer of 1988, I worked in a factory in Manhattan. I worked in a printing press factory that also did manufactured stuff, and so I did that summer, and I think I made $4.25 an hour, maybe something like that. And by the end of the summer, I had enough money to go out and buy a Fender Stratocaster, an American-made Fender Stratocaster that is still in my writing room over there. And I did. And one of the things that Eddie Van Halen used to do is he smoked, and I smoked then. Even as, yes, that young of a person, I did. I don't anymore. He would put his cigarette in between the sixth string of his headstock and the headstock, and he would just stick it out right there, and you probably have seen pictures of that. Well, I decided to do that as well. And if you look at Eddie Van Halen's guitars over the years, there are little burn marks on the headstock. There's a little burn mark on my headstock. That's my tribute to Eddie. One of my many tributes to Eddie Van Halen. Oh, I hope everybody's doing all right. I really do. There's so much going on, and so little of it makes any sense whatsoever. It's so easy to find yourself wondering if justice is a thing that exists, right? If this is a just world. I think there's even a philosophical doctrine of like the just world fallacy or something like that. If somebody knows, drop it in the comments. Is the world a fair place? Seems not to be, huh? But time marches on. This is a song about Boston and the way it used to be. It's called Such a Town. Back when I was a grown-up, I had an office with a view of Cambridge across the river and Dedham to the south, and Boston standing pat between the two. Like that Robert Francis poem about the hound. Well, my feelings about Boston are uncertain as of now. Such a town, such a town. Fenway Park was crumbling and neglected, and they turned off the Citgo sign. Ray Flynn took down the Rainbow Coalition. That's the Boston I picture in my mind. No, not Crispus Attucks, not Paul Revere. No, it's kids throwing rocks at buses and a flag used as a spear. Such a town, such a town.
my folks split up in Boston. Boston cut me deep and made me bleed. But I got married in Boston, and my kids were born in Boston just like me. A home of Justice Margaret Marshall and Bobby Orr, the plowing stars, the burring Doyles and the Fours. Such a town, such a town. Take the red line from Park Street out to Harvard, the orange line from State to Forest Hills. One thing I know about Boston, if I play this song in Boston, well, it might just get me killed. Thank goodness Whitey Bulger's dead and gone. Here's to Kevin White, the Pixies, and Robert Gooch Shaw. Such a town, such a town, such a town. Such a town. Thank you for asking for that song, Rich, and happy birthday to you. Yeah, I wrote that song in, I think, April of 2018. It hasn't made a record yet. That is fixing to change. Every now and then, y'all, I have to tell you, there are days where weeks there where I'm just like, I don't know, man. This music thing is kind of breaking my heart a little bit. And I sit in my writing room or at our kitchen/dining room table or out here at this table and just kind of wonder if I can write anymore, if I'm ever going to write again. And invariably, the next thing that happens is I go into my writing room and something pops out. And that was one such experience. I'm trying to think if there are any other ones that I've played for y'all over the last, how long have we been doing this? 7 months now? That's stupid. 7 months. That's just stupid. We lost this year. It's just crazy. I don't know. That one really does stick out to me though as a song that I'm surprised it exists because I quit. I quit a few times a day, I think. Right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. I think you do. We've got Genesis from California. Willa asked for this song. And I know Genesis really digs this. The first girl who broke my heart was Anika Larson in first grade in Cambridge, Massachusetts, right across the Charles River from Boston. Anika was we were 6 and she was adorable and blonde, Swedish. I'm half Norwegian, There were synergies there, right? Even if you're 6, there were synergies there. And she kissed me in our first grade classroom after we'd played a game of Connect 4. She lived just about 2 blocks away from us. We lived on the first floor of a 2-family
me and my older brother Chris and my mom, who was making I think like $6,000 or $7,000 a year, working for the state government or the Commonwealth, the government of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Commonwealth. Anika lived 2 blocks away in a gigantic house with a gigantic family. She had an ice skating rink in her backyard. I can still remember skating around that rink. One day when I'd gone over to her house, I can kind of still feel that cold wind on my face, you know? The stuff that our brains remember and store up. I mean, for me, instead of song lyrics, it would be better if I was remembering song lyrics than if I was remembering the feeling of wind on my face when I was 6 years old. Right? I think so. It would be more utilitarian. I thought there was some kind of squirrel in a tree, but there's just a bug on the screen. We're just taking this second by second here, as always. The other thing that my brain is full of is rules of civil procedure and cases interpreting those. I don't need that anymore. No, thank you. I'd rather know all of Todd Snyder's songs by heart so that I can play them on request, or Oxford Town, as it were. But no. So, where did things end up with Anika? Well, she denied that she'd ever kissed me, and she broke my heart. We lived in Boston for another 4 or 5 years after that, and she continued to deny it. And she has a cool name, and so there's my daughter BB. If you know BB, I can say this because she doesn't really watch these. She's completely adorable. She's 12 years old. BB is the best. BB and Zoe. So Anika broke my heart. And if you break someone's heart, just hope they don't ever become a songwriter. If I had a wooden leg, you'd steal it and leave me stuck up in a hayloft all alone. If I were Heathcliff, you'd forsake me and then haunt me as a ghost when you were gone. Well, I must have had it coming. I can't for sure say how. It's strange I have this stubborn wish you were right here with me now. And I have fault lines etched across my heart like the cracked up perfect patchwork of the Mona Lisa. And the deepest cut of all belongs to you. Yes, it all began with you, sweet Anika. Oh, sweet Anika. Oh. If I were Jake, you'd be Lady Brett. Your ways would leave me desperate and beguiled. If I were Earth, you'd be the temptress moon, sending light across 250,000 miles. I guess I fall in love too easy, and I move on too slow. Some broken things just stay broke, yeah, that's the way it goes. And I have fault lines etched across my heart like the cracked up perfect patchwork of the Mona Lisa. And the deepest cut of all belongs to you, 'cause it all began with you, sweet Anika. Oh, sweet Anika. That song is called Anika. So that's essentially 2 Boston songs right there in a row. Who knows? 12:51. Got about 10 minutes left here. I have time for 1 or 2 more. I don't know what 1 or 2 it's going to be. I don't. So, we're just going to have to, just going to have to think about this for a second while I talk at you. Yeah. I remember seeing the Van Halen logo in little kind of pen and pencil graffiti on doors and walls in my little school in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I remember that. I think the first Van Halen song that I was ever kind of aware of as a little 9-year-old person was Jump, with the keyboards and everything. And I thought Van Halen was super cool, man. I just loved the way it sounded. But the problem is my brother did not. My brother was like a police person, a violent femmes person, a psychedelic furs person, and I desperately wanted my brother's approval in all things. I kind of still do, but so I kind of would pretend not to like Van Halen. They're bad. Moved out to California, and I think it was probably 1984 or 1985. I was in the Warehouse, which was it was like Tower Records. It was a music selling store. What record store? Pfft, can't even remember the name of them. They do exist, but it's not like it was. And I remember I bought a cassette copy of Van Halen 1984. And I was like, you know what? I don't care if my brother approves of this or not. It's just cool. And I wore that thing out, man. Woo! I listened to that a lot. The Warehouse. Tower Records, Westwood, man. I can kind of smell that place. I remember the stairs going up and down. Oh, man. Let's see. What's it going to be? It's, I don't have any, even though I spent a lot of time there and I love it, I don't really have LA songs. I want to write an LA song. Maybe I should put a prompt in a cat and pull it out with the words Los Angeles on it, and maybe I'll write a Los Angeles song. Man, if we're talking about prompts, I'm going to play a song I wrote to a prompt that endeared me to the folk music community in a way that I did not anticipate it would. 12:54, October 7th, 2020. Or you might not be watching this live. It might be hours, days later. it might be 2022 and you're like, I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch a stream from this random person on YouTube from his backyard with an owl. No, it's going to mostly be people watching right now. Dull women keep immaculate homes. Well, Grandma June and Grandpa Joe lived up in Dutchess County. They had a tiny house on a big old piece of land. And that house was filled with books and sculptures and papers and paintings that take an MFA to understand. Well, sometimes Grandpa Joe, he'd almost lose his temper. He'd say, June, this house is looking like a war zone. She'd put her hands on her hips, tilt her head to the left and say, dull women keep immaculate homes. Well, Grandpa Joe passed, and oh, how she missed him. That tiny house became a shrine of their love. And then she started adopting dogs and cats and hamsters. They kept her company along with the good Lord up above. But Daddy didn't like it, not for one single second. He said, Mama, what on earth is going on? She put her hands on her hips, tilted her head to the left and said, dull women keep immaculate homes. She said, oh, I've been so blessed. Yeah, there's joy in this life and you can find it if you want to make a mess. We lost Grandma June a year ago November. I hadn't cried like that since I was just a kid. We all met up in Uncle Milton's and drank and sang together, told off-color jokes like Grandma June would have did. Then we buried her in the cemetery right next to her beloved, and Daddy wouldn't say just what he put on her gravestone. I read that epitaph, and there etched in granite was, dull women keep immaculate homes. Dull women keep immaculate. Jordy joins us. I was talking about you a little bit early, Jordy. It's so nice to see you. I've been thinking about you a tremendous amount these last couple days because I'm reading a book by Isabel Allende called, I think, The Long Petal of the Sea, which is about a family fleeing the Spanish Civil War and walking over the Pyrenees to flee the Spanish Civil War. So I've been thinking about you a lot, and also because I watched an Anthony Bourdain show about a restaurant on the Costa Brava called El Bulli. I miss you, my brother. I'm going to call you. I'm going to play one more song, gosh darn it. Thank you all for watching and listening. Well, they took out the circle, but the traffic's no better. $60 million just pissed away. You sit for an hour, the baby fills her diaper, but that Huggy ain't leaking. I guess we're okay. And at Ferretti's in Brewster, roast beef and salami, sliced to perfection, that IBP meat. Folks stand there waiting in tunics and tivas, a little hungover, maybe 1/3 asleep. On a thin strip of sand, out in the Atlantic, you can sin like the Kennedys did. Provincetown salt boxes shimmer in sunlight. There's a suicide fence on the Sagamore Bridge. There's a suicide fence on the Sagamore Bridge. Hey, that bar band in Wellesley, they do hits from the 90s at the Beachcomber Pub on Saturday nights. It's like an ad for Viagra. They play Bush and Nirvana. hit on the barflies and get lucky sometimes. And the rich folks from Chatham, well, they don't like poor folks. Say affordable housing, it won't happen here. And in their black E350s, when they've had four too many, they speed on the back roads and T-bone the deer. On a thin strip of sand out in the Atlantic, you can sin like the Kennedys did. Provincetown salt boxes shimmer in sunlight. There's a suicide fence on the Sagamore Bridge. There's a suicide fence on the Sagamore Bridge. Yeah, the girls in from Russia live in single-wide trailers in Yarmouth and Dennis. On summer J1s, they make $4 an hour serving crab cakes at parties and repel the advances of husbands and sons. And on Labor Day weekend, locals stand on the bridges waving goodbye at the folks on Route 6. Then they head back to their houses feeling smug satisfaction, mix Coke and Evan Williams and scream at their kids. On a thin strip of sand out in the Atlantic, you can sin like the Kennedys did. Provincetown salt boxes shimmer in sunlight. There's a suicide fence on the Sagamore Bridge. There's a suicide fence on the Sagamore Bridge. There's a suicide fence on the Sagamore Bridge. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you all next week. Take care of each other and take care of yourselves.